Hey everyone, it's Riggs, and we've got some DC movie universe news here today. This is from fandomwire.com. I'm not too familiar with this website, but we've got an article that popped up about James Gunn talking about DC films. James Gunn has recently taken over control of the DC expanded universe, and there's been a lot of talk over the last couple days that everything is getting rebooted. I've sat through enough mediocre to terrible DC films, James Gunn, canceling major DCEU movies, including Man of Steel 2 and Black Adam 2, gets massive fan support. This was from 2 days ago. Link will be in the description. James Gunn's tenure at DCU began with the Suicide Squad and its immediate spin-off, the critically acclaimed HBO Max series Peacemaker. But the director's vision hasn't ended there, as his election as the DC Studios chief, alongside producer Peter Safran, had become a telltale sign of the CBM franchise's bright days ahead. I guess comic book movie franchises. After a long time, the DC universe finally gets direction and purpose behind its otherwise listless wandering. I didn't know that he was elected to DC Studios as the head. I thought he was hired to do that. But let me just say, I don't know that the Suicide Squad was all that great. I saw it once. I don't think it was really much of an improvement over the first movie, in my opinion, which is completely meaningless. Critically acclaimed HBO Max series Peacemaker. I can't comment on that. I had no interest in it and didn't watch it. The past decade has now been condensed into the minuscule capacity of 2 months within which the director plans to submit his DC Universe Bible's proposal to the higher-ups at Warner Brothers Discovery for their final confirmation. And the grammar in this article sucks. James Gunn's 10-year plan gets underway at DC Studios. Amid massive slashing of projects, cancellations, rumored spin-off movies, and expansion of the DC mainstream universe, James Gunn has been swamped up to his neck in ideas about where next to tread in the vast waters of the comic book franchise. At the time of his appointment as the DC Studios head, the direct orders were to focus on an interconnected narrative covering the expanse of the coming decade. Given his visionary approach toward the comic book movie industry, as witnessed with both Marvel as well as DC, it wasn't a tall order, and the director was unanimously praised, vetted, and congratulated by the fans, as well as critics in his new role. Well, I'm a fan. I'm not much but an armchair quarterback as far as critic is concerned. I met this news the other day with complete ambivalence. I love James Gunn's work on Guardians of the Galaxy. I think it's a mixed bag with everything else in his career. Suicide Squad was no exception. I couldn't understand what people were talking about watching this movie. Now, Suicide Squad in and of itself as a property is something I had never really had any interest in, going back to the time I started reading comic books, 35 years ago or so. But that was the same with Guardians of the Galaxy. And I absolutely loved the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. I really enjoyed the second movie. I enjoyed their involvement in the larger Infinity Saga. And I'm looking forward to Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Haven't caught the Christmas episode, Christmas special yet. But Suicide Squad, same boat. Characters I don't really care about, never really cared about. Couldn't care about them from the first movie. Still don't care about them after the second movie. The weeks that followed witnessed James Gunn actively working and simultaneously dropping by on Twitter or Hive Social to tease his formative plans. Among the ideas that caught the most attention was his indication of a Kingdom Come arc. I guess he posted a tweet with the picture, one of Alex Ross's covers. That's pretty exciting. I know they did Kingdom Come in the Warner Brothers or the WB. Or CW, WP, I'm dating myself, the CW TV shows. So a big screen treatment of that would be cool with, I think, the larger, the actors they may already have. I don't know about rebooting with that, but I guess we'll find out as this develops. But the excitement of such an ambitious project finding a home in DC soon was replaced by dreaded reports of the Snyderverse era heroes being completely scrapped out of existence. Good riddance. to the Snyderverse. I found the most of this stuff to be absolutely dreadful. At the moment, Man of Steel and Black Adam 2 has been officially confirmed as a no-go by the authorities on the subject concerned. Man of Steel, first movie, I did not like. I do like Henry Cavill as Superman, so it would have been nice to kind of see a second turn at that without kind of the morose universe that we've been stuck with. Wonder Woman 3 script by Patty Jenkins was decidedly declared as worse than its predecessor, and the director's exit from DC has now put Gal Gadot's trilogy at a crossroads. Jason Momoa's Aquaman 2 faces the hangman's rope, since reports indicate the actor will be pulled off the Atlanteans roster and be recast as Lobo. I think that's a shame. People really seem to enjoy him as Aquaman, but he is a perfect cast for Lobo, I think. I can't think of another actor in Hollywood right now that could just slide into that role, just from a visual standpoint. I mean, a little bit of makeup and he looks like Lobo. You don't need to do a lot of work there. And the subject of Batfleck has been ignored like the Black Plague in DC circles. I thought we were done with Batfleck. Fans optimistic in the face of surmounting tragedy at DCEU. They make it sound like the studio fell into the ocean after an earthquake. Even with the DCU completely metamorphosing into a new being in front of the eyes of its million-strong fandom, the people have been receptive to the change after the chaos that ensued after 2017's Joss Whedon embarrassment. Every man for himself had become the ruling motto at DC, and if not for David Zaslav's iron-fisted rule in the initial few months after the WBD merger, the franchise would have still been listless and barely managing to stay afloat. James Gunn's focused outlook and re-envisioning of the DC Universe Bible features a similar trait to that of Zaslav's, and even though the aforementioned cancellations may hurt the fandom now, a completely new slate and a fresh start for the franchise's narrative may be just what is essential for DCU's survival and evolution. I think in this word salad here, there's some truth. I mean, Zaslav basically said the same thing, that they had all this stuff in the can, in the pipeline, that was just second tier, third tier garbage, and they just wiped it away. They probably have too much invested in the Flash movie to take that right down. So we're going to, I think, see that for sure. But everything else, they basically threw away anything that wasn't tied down. So we've got some tweets here. Not that any of us is owed an explanation, but I love how transparent James Gunn is being with us. DC is in great hands, being shepherded by Gunn and Safran. Trust the creative process. Yeah, I got nothing to say about that. I mean, we have to see what his plans are. They certainly can't be any worse than what's been going on the last 10 years. I've sat through enough mediocre to terrible DC films post-Dark Knight trilogy that I wholeheartedly trust James Gunn to take this story wherever he wants to take it. I do hope to see a warm, optimistic Superman on screen again, though, Cavill or not. I agree with that. So I see this tweet here from Mike Castro Films with the quote from, I think, the article's title. So I guess that James Gunn didn't actually say that the movies were mediocre and terrible. James Gunn being so open, patient, and willing to publicly interact with fans is so refreshing to see and something DC needed. Critics in the fandom have been equally appreciative of everything that James Gunn has been doing since assuming office on November 1st. I mean, what the hell are they talking about? The guy's made a couple tweets and he's, they've canceled a few movies, maybe. I don't know what fandom, what critics are like bowled over with praise for James Gunn. We haven't seen anything yet other than Suicide Squad, which again, I don't get it. To me, it was fine, I guess. I didn't really care for it, considering how the previous management under Walter Hamada crumbled amid a putrid audience reception. It is indeed refreshing to witness the director and CEO taking a more transparent approach to communicating with the fandom and keeping his audience in the loop throughout these volatile times of change and transformation. As far as keeping us in the loop, I mean, these guys don't owe us anything. They have to come up with a coherent plan that's going to hopefully bring in a bunch of excellent creators and put out quality content that people are excited about. What had been happening over the last 10 years was they had the vision of one man with a few creators, and it was kind of a disjointed, somber mess. And it wasn't something that got people jazzed up for the next. I mean, certain people, there's definitely the Snyder fans, and they went out and got their director's cut of the Justice League film. But this stuff was just universally awful, with the exception of, I think, the first Wonder Woman movie, and people really seemed to dig Aquaman. So everything else was crap. Source, Twitter, James Gunn. So obviously, a highly researched article written by this person who claim to fame is writing over 500 published articles at this site. So yeah, I guess maybe the AI bots could do better with this article. I guess we'll find out. So, I mean, leave a comment. What are you excited about? James Gunn taking over the DCEU? Personally, I could care less, but I know we're going to be hearing a lot more about this in the weeks, months, and years to come. And hopefully we'll get something good. I would really dig a good Green Lantern movie. Green Lantern is my guy. So anything good related to Green Lantern, sign me up. But everything else, I'll believe it when I see it. Anyway, leave a comment. We'll talk about it maybe during the mail call this week. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, like the video if you enjoyed the content, and pass it along to your friends and help our channel grow. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.